popular demand, we are coming back with another video for our Developmental Milestones series, focusing on developmental milestones for your 2.5-year-old and activities that you can do with your child to help them meet those milestones. Carnahan fam, my name is Kaylee Carnahan and I am an early childhood educator. If you're not subscribed to our channel, take a second to hit subscribe and turn on the little bell, and be sure to find us on Instagram as well, because on Instagram we're sharing daily the things that we're doing with our toddlers, so there is so much more content there to share. It is really important to remember that these milestones and activities to support the milestones actually apply to a really wide range of kids. For example, we also have a 1.5-year-old and she does a lot of the activities with us, developing these skills as well. So keep that in mind. Today we are starting off with cognitive milestones, and cognitive milestones are milestones that are related to the way that your baby thinks, remembers things, and problem solves. And problem solving is actually exactly where we are going to start today. Our first cognitive milestone for your 2.5-year-old is that at this point, your 2.5-year-old is starting to develop their own solutions to problems, such as bringing a chair to the counter when they can't reach something, or maybe even getting a stick to whack a toy from under the table to be able to get it out.
Let's do the other side.
Ooh, that's a great idea. Way to solve your problem. You turned the paper. Hey, do we want a snack?
It's locked.
It's locked?
Yeah.
Oh, what should we do?
Please open it, please.
Oh yeah, asking for help. That's a great way to solve the problem.
I want to too.
You want a chair?
Yeah.
Way to be a problem solver. And a couple ways that you can help your 2.5-year-old to be able to develop these problem solving skills is by 1, giving them opportunity to solve problems, and 2, modeling what that looks like. For example, if your child wants something on the counter, instead of just grabbing it, you might say, that cup is too high. How can we solve this problem? Verbally model a solution to solving the problem. We can use a chair. A chair makes us taller. Then we can reach the cup. Let's go grab a chair to reach the cup. Then you can cheer and celebrate together. Yay! We are problem solvers. Over time, your child will think up their own creative solutions to these problems themselves. The next cognitive milestone for your 2.5-year-old child is that they're beginning to have more complicated imaginative play, beginning to assign roles or characters to objects that aren't actually what they're pretending they are.
The rabbit is hitting you rabbit. Mama, this is our house and this is our house.
Little pig, let me in.
Oh no, the wolf blew our house down.
This is a wolf.
It kind of seems like it. He knocked our house over. This might look like your laundry basket being a race car, or your broom being a pony to ride. One way that you can foster this imaginative play is by providing your child with open-ended materials and even modeling different scenarios for your child. Our next set of milestones that we are going to dive into for your 2.5-year-old child are social and emotional milestones, which are milestones that are related to the way that your toddler understands their own feelings as well as interact socially with others. Our first developmental milestone for your 2.5-year-old child is they are actually in the perfect range to do what's called parallel play, where they play next to another child, maybe even with the same toys, but not interacting together. You can support parallel play with your child by 1, giving them opportunity to play next to other children. Maybe they're playing in a sensory table with a limited number of blocks, or even painting side by side. Sing-along songs and finger plays that they can do side by side is another great way to introduce parallel play. And while your child is experiencing parallel play, it is very helpful to address the other child's actions and emotions while playing. Our next social emotional milestone for your 2.5-year-old child is the I can do it myself phase. Your child is likely becoming more and more independent and aware that, hey, they can do quite a few things themselves and are proud of themselves when they do so. Independence is a wonderful skill that we want to foster with our young toddlers. We can do this in many, many different ways. One, plan the time for independence. It definitely takes a lot longer for your child to put on their own clothes, to put on their own shoes, so you're definitely gonna wanna plan for a little bit of extra time as your child seeks more independence.
I want to put my shoes on all by myself.
All right, you do it, buddy.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen Christian? There he is. There we go. Look at you. You did it all by yourself. It's also good to verbally point out their efforts to be independent, even if they're not successful. It is the effort that they're putting into being independent, not necessarily accomplishing the task itself, that we are praising.
I want to help with the arms.
I would love to help you. Thanks for asking. Woohoo! I love the way you did the beginning all by yourself. But at this stage, sometimes independence can be really hard, and we want to do everything that we can to avoid daily power struggles with our toddlers. The best way to do this is by offering 2 choices that are completely okay with you. That way, your toddler still gets the benefit of being independent and choosing the one that they want. Should we play catch, or should we practice balancing?
Balance.
Do you want to wear boots or swim shoes?
Swim.
Another great choice option to offer your toddler is the choice of help. I'm here to help you if you need my help. Your shirt is inside out. Would you like me to fix it for you?
Yeah.
Choice gives your toddler power and independence, both things they are craving in the I can do it myself stage. Next, let's look at some speech milestones for your 2.5-year-old. And this developmental area is probably the one that's going to vary the most for 2.5-year-olds. A typical 2.5-year-old will be saying about 2 to 4 word phrases, can be understood by others other than their parents about 50% of the time, and their vocabulary is probably somewhere around 200 words, but could be all the way up to 1,000. They're also likely starting to ask the "What's that? Where? Why?" kinds of questions. You can see why typical speech for a 2.5-year-old can vary so greatly. Now, you'll notice in this video and all the videos throughout our channel, speech is one of the areas that our son is well above the typical developmental range.
It's an airplane because we're doing that, and because Mama and Papa, Mama and Tessie are doing on the airplane. Not right now, Cece. I'm using this robot. With the spines. Auntie Rose.
With saying over 1,000 words before he even turned 2, we have another video here on our channel that has 10 easy strategies of things that you can do at home to foster a rich language environment. So if you're looking for some strategies to help your toddler reach these speech milestones, you're definitely going to want to check that video out. Now let's move into self-care milestones. And self-care milestones relate to the way that your toddler contributes to taking care of herself as well as her environment. The first self-care milestone for your 2.5-year-old toddler is that they are able to brush their teeth independently. For hygiene reasons, it is still best that you support your child in the brushing process. But what we like to do in our house is an I do to make sure that I can get a really good brush on our toddler's teeth, and then either you do or we do. Ready? Mama's turn. A, B, C, D. Your turn. Our next self-care milestone is that your toddler is able to pull up their pants on their own with potentially maybe still needing some assistance in straightening them out at the end. This skill is best practiced by starting with loose fitting shorts. Loose fitting shorts are gonna go up easier so that your child can get that motion down, especially in reaching in the back and pulling them up. Then you can move on to stiffer materials and even pants. To fine motor milestones, and fine motor milestones are milestones that are related to the muscles in your toddler's hands and fingers. And today the first milestone that we're going to be practicing is beginning scissor skills. Your toddler will begin opening and closing the scissors on their own. Now when we are beginning scissor skills, it is really important that you show your toddler and reinforce the proper way to hold scissors. When your toddler holds scissors, their thumb should be in that top loop and about 3 fingers in the bottom loop. Their thumb should stay up the whole time, so one easy trick for helping them to remember that is by drawing a cute little smiley face on their thumbnail, and their elbow should stay in. You don't want them sticking their elbow out doing a chicken wing kind of thing when cutting. We use the saying, fingers in the bottom and thumb on top. The alligator says, chomp, chomp, chomp. And the hand that they're not using to hold the scissors is their helper hand to hold the paper, to turn the paper, and to support them while cutting. Our next fine motor milestone for your 2.5-year-old toddler is that when holding writing utensils, your toddler is starting to use a tripod grasp, or otherwise you could call it a pinch. This is a tricky transition because likely your toddler is going from holding the pencil with their full fist. And our toddler still has that instinct as well. So the best way to correct this is just by verbal cues. Remember your pinch. And lots of practice. You can see that our 2.5-year-old here is practicing using that tripod grasp while also working on some pre-writing skills and practicing some writing strokes. If you are interested in this printable, you can find it as a freebie in the preschool section of our website at thecarnahanfam.com. And finally, we are going to move on to gross motor milestones, and these are milestones that are related to the large muscles in their bodies, so their arms, their core, their legs. And the first gross motor milestone for your toddler is that they are able to catch a ball by trapping it against their chest. Practice this skill with your toddler by having them reach out with both hands when you're getting ready to throw. Then, as the ball comes toward them, encourage them to give it a great big hug and trap it against their chest. Large, squishier balls work really well for this, and even stuffed animals. The smaller and stiffer the ball is, the more difficult it'll be for your toddler to catch. So while you're still developing this skill, stick for something larger and a little bit squishier. And the next gross motor milestone for your 2.5-year-old toddler is that they're beginning to be able to balance on one foot. You can practice this activity by just helping your toddler to place one foot on the floor and one foot on top of something. This way they have to shift their weight from both feet onto one leg while they briefly lift up their foot to place it on the object. That's all we've got for our 2.5-year-old milestones today. Be sure to check out the rest of our channel and see what other toddler activities you could be doing with your little ones today. We'll see you again next time. Bye.